Not your stereotypical quaint little English countryside. Village, that is. In 1989, this place was notified by the Guinness Book of World Records that it was officially the most haunted village in England. Now, if you're one of the most haunted villages in one of the most haunted countries, I'd say that's some big shoes to fill. But this place did it. There's at least 12 legends. One of them is of the Red Lady who haunts the churchyard. There's stories of an apparition of a highwayman who still rides around. I believe once I read one story about a woman who used to drink and fish by the ponds. One day she spontaneously combusted. Her ghost is said to haunt the area. There's all sorts of different bars, different things, and I'm going to give us a quick peek just to say that we did. I'm Jay Bradstreet. I'm in Pluckley, England, and this is Shadow Travels. When you become accustomed to a life of traveling through the valley of the shadow of death, you become familiar with narrow, winding roadways, thick trees looming overhead like natural archways, progressing you through a tunnel that leads you to the next spot. And although these journeys are wrought with uncertainties, one thing is always certain and always solidified to remember. That certainty is there will always be a next destination. With a history dating back 1,000 years, and around that same number of people living there according to a 2011 consensus, color me shocked to discover that after years of curiosity, reading, and research, Pluckley has a much more modern look than I initially imagined. The structure seemed sound and solid, with shingles that were more than capable of keeping out the harsh rain of southeast England. This did give me hope to find a fast electrical outlet, as, ironically, the battery of my phone was hovering on the brink of death. Color me dismayed that this gave me a very brief experience with very few pictures in this quaint, beautiful, and very haunted location. The saving place for my predicament turned out to be the Black Horse, a pub with history dating back to the 1470s and also a history of poltergeist activity. Items both simple and valuable have been said to disappear from their original placement, only to reappear sometimes years later in the spot where they were originally sat. A more eerie patron that is said to visit the place often is the spectral of a little boy with eyes like a corpse and skin as white as a ghost. Visitors to the Black Horse have often spoke of seeing this boy wearing Victorian clothing, simply watching them, staring into them, and then watching their vehicles when they decide it's time to leave. I myself cannot attest to these ghostly tales, but I can tell you with absolute certainty that the sign hanging on the wall of the Black Horse is not lying when it says they have spectacular drinks and supernatural service. We have only to step outside and wander the grounds to discover a few more gritty tales of restless spirits. Not only does the town have its legends of phantom carriages and black dogs, when we step towards St. Nicholas churchyard, there comes the ghost of the Red Lady, a woman who is said, according to legend, to be searching for her stillborn child, oftentimes with a red rose in her hand. Counter that with the sister story of the White Lady, as every town must have one. This White Lady in particular was said to have been buried in several caskets, including one made of oak, because the person who buried her wanted to maintain her beauty after death. Her ghost is said to reside near the churchyard. A third ghost said to be residing in the area revolves around a woman who was an alcoholic. While she fished, a spark from her pipe caught the alcohol she was drinking, sometimes said whiskey, sometimes said gin. Nevertheless, she did not spontaneously combust, as what was stated in the introduction to this video, but she certainly was set aflame until she was killed from being engulfed in fire. Such a painful death has ensured that her soul has been unable to rest as it wanders around Pluckley. Continue on with the tale of one Mr. DuBois, a highwayman who was known to frighten passerbys as he hung toward an area known as Fright Corner near the outskirts of town. Eventually, someone caught up to his tricks and speared him, pinning him to a tree that is often said to appear with his ghost to this day. Addressing the aforementioned area known as Fright Corner, it is also an area known as the Screaming Woods because so many people have reported hearing the screams of people who have been lost or died in the area. Their voices residually remain. My time here was far too brief, but that is the reminder that there will always be setbacks, challenges, and unexpected ways as we push forward on our journeys. Nevertheless, I encourage you to research some of the 13 or more ghosts that put Pluckley, England, on the Guinness Book of World Records as the most haunted village in England. As always, I wish you the best as you progress forward, and especially as you embrace the future of shadow travels. For future glimpses into the dark, the deranged, and the downright bizarre world in which we live, make sure you hit the subscription box. Bang the bell so that you will see future videos as they are produced, and please make sure to hit the like button so that the algorithm will keep them coming right to your notifications. We have a large world of oddities to explore, and I would love for you to come with me. Check out the description box for other ways that you can contribute and be a part of the cause, and make sure to stay safe as we wander the odd world